one of which is old Robert Scorsese's The Irishman. So this is particularly a scene where he selects a firearm to use to do a hit, a assassination, right? So let's check this out, and I'll just go to break it down for you guys.
Now, for something like this, you're gonna need two guns. The one you're gonna use, and a backup. You want something with more stopping.
Okay, so yeah, this is that right there. He sounds like he's thinking about this in a reasonable way. He's gonna do a mob hit on, just like he just needs to assassinate a single target. So definitely you want to have a primary and secondary weapon. And again, he expects to be doing it at very close range.
Power than a 22.
Okay, so he talks about he wants more stopping power than a 22. Stopping power is kind of a myth in terms of lethality. I can see on one hand why he might want stopping power, and it might not be to ensure that the hit is lethal, but his worry may be that, you know, if you shoot someone and it takes 5 to 10 seconds for them to become incapacitated, and those 5 to 10 seconds they can shoot you back. And so it may be like you want enough stopping power, enough kinetic energy to push them back, to stun them, to give you an additional time to shoot and leave, right? So that's maybe my theory, but the truth is that stuff is kind of bunk. I just don't buy it. Stopping power is a persistent myth that people want to be true, but basically it's just done to sell more calibers. So he's saying, no, I'm not interested in these.
Definitely don't want a silencer. You want to make a lot of noise to make the witnesses run away so they ain't going to be looking at you.
Okay, I think that is dumb. Yeah, make a lot of noise to make the witnesses run away. First off, a silencer is not going to be as quiet as you think. So it can definitely reduce the report of a weapon, but to properly run a silencer, you need to have subsonic rounds, and those are going to be like a specialty type of round. But it's in an enclosed environment, a suppressor or silencer is just, it's still going to be really loud, and people will see you on the approach. So it's not clear that a lot of noise will help your cause. Like people are still going to see you prior to the act and during the act, and people will still run away from silenced, from, you know, gunfire, because gunfire is scary. Also, those are not integrated silencers. They could be taken off the weapon whenever he wants.
But not the noise a 45 makes, because that makes too much noise, and a patrol car can hear it a few blocks away at least.
Yeah, again, I would be curious to know the decibel level differences. Literally, here's a 45 with a silencer. With full regular rounds, it will sound like a 22 or 38, and he just needs to, like, he's got it. He's got the weapon he needs. It's not very concealable. That could be a problem.
The cops call a 32 a woman's gun because it's easy to handle, don't do the damage a 38 does, but, you know, it does enough.
Okay, S. Collins looked it up. A 9mm register, it comes in at 159 decibels, and 45 ACP 157. So yeah, the too much noise thing sounds like a Hollywood writer, right? But again, in this day and age, right, in the era this is set, of course this guy's going to subscribe to gun myths. He's sort of an untrained guy.
It'll be late, so the tourists from Idaho wouldn't be there. They'd be in bed. And him being down there in Little Italy, maybe he'd be more comfortable, more relaxed. It was his birthday, so he'd be there with his wife and his kid, which in this case, that's good because that's the point. They should have to see what it's like.
So here's the thing, right? The Italian mob in this era, they didn't usually go after women and children. But if you're going to do an assassination like this, remember, bullets travel a lot. They don't stop in a person, and you're not going to fire one shot. You're going to fire several and get out. And the chance of collateral damage of hurting a wife or kid is pretty tremendous. You'd be better off trying to get somebody alone and away from other people, right? I mean, look at, there's a UFC fighter, Cain Velasquez, who was in a lot of legal trouble because he decided to enact some vigilante justice on someone who hurt a young, like, minor family member. But Velasquez literally got in his car, ran down this person, and was shooting at them from his car. Well, he never shot the person he was aiming for. Instead, shot a random passenger and put everyone on the road in this in this town in danger, right? So he ended up just hurting a secondary person. Oh, interesting. Okay, my mic is popping again. Oh, weird. Just, uh-oh. I don't know if that did anything. Like, yeah. Hello, Chakuga. Yeah. Aragorn, I don't know what you're talking about. I am absolutely not doing any of these unauthorized. Man, this is really, maybe I should just, yeah, I'm just trying to figure out why my mic is being so uncooperative. Yeah, I don't hear it, and I can hear the mic recording. Like, I can hear what the mic hears through the headphones. So I'm not hearing an audio difference. It may be the stream. Seems very possible. It does say, well, it says I have 0 dropped frames. Okay. Yeah. Chuvak, good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Hope you're staying safe. Oh, Chuvak means dude. Okay. All right, cool. So anyway, we're for those of you that are just joining us, we are looking at the gun selection scene from Scorsese's The Irishman, and we're breaking down what sort of bad decision making he's making.
He'd already been drinking, which would have slowed him down a lot. His bodyguard would be with him, and Joey himself could be carried too, but then the piece would be in his wife's purse, probably.
So, okay, he's talking about, I mean, this is actually an accurate depiction of how you should be planning out a tactical mission like this, right? You should be thinking about, you want to think about the enemy. So, yeah, there's okay. So when we plan a mission, we think about things in the military using the 5-paragraph op-ord system, right? And it's a very flexible document that we do to produce this planning. But if you think about all the core elements of it, you'll have planning covered. And he does it here, actually. So it's situation, mission, execution, like supply and logistics, and command and control or communication. And so he's thinking about he's talking about the situation, which is that he has to assassinate this guy, that he's got some friendly forces, some enemy forces, right? That's essential to the situation. He's talking about, okay, what are the friendly forces? What is their most likely course of action? I.e. not being able to get their piece out in time. Talks about the most dangerous, right? He talks about them, the bodyguard being present. He's talking about how he's going to try to mitigate it. Obviously, he knows his mission, right, is to kill this guy in front of his kids. And then he's talking about the execution. We're going to get to that here in a sec.
You never got a lot of advance notice. All you knew was your part of it.
Yeah, so he's talking about the fact that, and it's true, The he's talking about the fact that you operate on this need to know basis, right? And the idea of a need to know is that your people to your left and right, up and down in the mission, they don't need to know every detail of what you're doing. And in some ways, for legal reasons, maintaining plausible deniability is better. You want the most number of people who can just say, I don't know what was going on. I was just told X or Y. And so the more people you can have like that, the harder it is to unravel a criminal organization. And some militaries operate that way. They say, hey, we keep our low-level people as in the dark as possible so that if they're captured or turned traitor, there's not that big of an intelligence or operational loss. The trade-off is that it's very inflexible, right? If a private in Russia, for example, doesn't know the objective they're going towards, if their commander is taken out or they're cut off, they can't find their way back because they have no idea where they're supposed to be headed, right? So this is the sort of stuff that you think about when you're planning an operation. In the US and Western militaries, we've gotten away from that. We give our even lowest level soldiers tremendous amounts of information, and that's to ensure that they can adapt and understand changing circumstances, right? If a private knows his platoon or company's mission, then in the event, for example, they encounter a situation that wasn't planned for, they can think, okay, what's the overall objective? So is this situation a huge problem? Is it a minor one? How can I work around it to still achieve our objective, right? But you have to know the objective to do that.
John the redhead knew only one thing. He was going to drop me off, circle the block, and pick me up. You want to take out the bodyguard first. Not kill him. Don't kill him, just disable him. You got no argument with him, so not...
Yeah, if you're... Listen, this is where your plan is to, like, disable a bodyguard. Like, nah, dude. Like, that sounds like a waste of time. You want to be... One, precision shooting like that isn't really all that possible. Not when your adrenaline's going, not when it's life or death. Expert shooters can sometimes do it, but to a regular work-a-day mob assassin, you're not going to be able to, like, wing him in the arm. And even if you did, do you know which arm is his primary arm? Right? Because it's like if you wing a left-handed firer in the right arm, they're still going to be able to draw and engage, right? So unfortunately, it's probably the you just gotta take them out, right? Yeah, personally too, I think you gotta get your angles right, approach from outside the bodyguard's field of view, and you just hit your primary target and get out.
In the face or the chest. Sometimes, with something like this, you might want to go to the bathroom first. It gives you a chance to make sure nobody followed you in. It also gives you a chance to make sure nobody's in the bathroom you have to worry about. It also gives you a chance to go to the bathroom. You don't want to be uncomfortable.
So what he's talking about here is actually a real military thing called a leader's recon. And a leader's recon is when you reach your objective rally point, right? The last covered and concealed position before you get to your objective. You want to do a final eyes on check to make sure the objective is really in the location you think it is, that the enemy composition and intelligence remains true, and it gives you a chance to make any final adjustments to the plan based on what you see there on the ground. And so being able to walk into this restaurant, take a piss, right? Look around, confirm your target's exact location, because maybe he has a favorite table, but hey, maybe he's mixing it up. Maybe his wife wants a view of one thing or another. Maybe one of the chairs broke and they had to get seated somewhere else. Whatever it is, right? You want it to be not you want to confirm that sort of stuff. So that's exactly what you do. You do your leader's recon, right? You finalize the plan, which he's probably talking about doing in the bathroom. And then he comes out and he executes his attack.
But I went before, and a place this small, this late, you might as well just get to work.
We need some more wine, right? Hey, Tommy, some more wine. So how about after that?
Okay, so right here, you can see this bodyguard is not earning his pay. Why is that? Because his back is to the door, right? You can see bodyguard, back to the door. His back is to the door, right? Nobody's going to allow that to happen, right? You always want to keep exits in your line of sight. And if you're really smart, right? Again, this bodyguard is just dicking it up. He's on the clock. He should be at another table so that any potential assassin knows that if he tries to kill the target, he's going to be watched via the bodyguard. Again, the classic old smart bodyguard would be to move is to have your subject, your protectee, in a separate back room where the bodyguard stands outside the door and just watches everybody coming in and out. Maybe even pats him down. Maybe just doesn't allow strangers to come in. Look at this. This is supposed to be a man in like his 30s.
You want the cake? Come on, you can't do that.
There we go. It probably can't show that level of graphic violence. That's okay. That's all right. Yeah, and only one bodyguard. Yeah, I mean, this is again yeah. So there were aspects of it that were really, really well done, and then there was aspects of it that were like kind of questionable, certainly. But anyway, that was The Irishman from old Marty Scorsese. It's hard to decide, right? Like, one of the things I think we're seeing in Ukraine and in warfare generally is that you don't have to be perfect, right? You don't have to be a tactical genius. You don't have to be John Wick to be effective at your mission, right? You only need to be mission effective. And we've seen it. We've seen the sort of messiness in a lot of the drone footage we've watched of Ukraine and Russian military operations, where you can see sort of the by the book of this attack or that attack, but then you see that the reality is a little messy, and you got to adapt to circumstances on the ground, that you make some mistakes, and it's just like an MMA fight, right? You don't, the best fight is the one that you get your hand raised at the end of it, right? You can make some mistakes, you can have things to improve, but all you have to do is make fewer costly mistakes than your opponent, right? And wars like that. And so, yeah, there was a lot of things I think he did wrong or in his narration, but I think that's probably close to true to life, right? The real world, people have myths, bad ideas. I mean, the truth is, if you're a mob assassin, it's not because you're a genius, right? You're expendable, right? You can, because, you know, sooner or later you assassinate enough people, and sooner or later you're going to end up on the wrong end, right?
So I said, no, it was supposed to be my pentakill. Why did you do that to me? I killed, I know.